Hello everybody, this is a doctor. He's Typical Manga Fan, and today in the fourth of our episodes of Typical Manga Review, we will be discussing Attack on Titan, Chapter 67, The Outer Wall of the Orvud District. I'm not going to pronounce that right at all, am I?
I just say old. I mean, there's not too many letters in it, so.
Yeah, there's probably a silent one somewhere in there. But anyway, we pretty much pick up where we left off. Aaron's eating plot armor and going Titan.
Literally. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally plot armor.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But we actually come out of it after he exits the Titan form. Apparently, he was able to harden and brace the place up and keep everything from collapsing in on them.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of disappointed because I was expecting like a full-on fight, like him in his armored form versus the king. I would just call him King Titan because he's literally the king.
There you go.
So King Titan. So against the King Titan, and I just thought that it'd be I know that the place was falling down, but I thought it was going to fall down anyway, and that he was going to beat the King Titan before the place fully collapsed. But I guess obviously now looking back in retrospect, the ceiling falling down was kind of top priority.
Yeah. Keeping your allies alive, friends and allies alive.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, last chapter kind of made you expect. It kind of made you expect a fallen fight. So it was kind of like oh wait, it's already over. But it turns out it never really began because the whole point of turning into a Titan was just to hold the ceiling up, and then the King Titan just left. So he's not like trying to eat Eren or something or anything like that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the King Titan's not really like thinking anymore. Not much for that at the moment.
Yeah, Eren's armored Titan basically looks like his normal self, just armored. Basically, is it actually wait? Because it's a manga, we can't really tell. But is he turning? Did he use the crystal power, or did he use like an armored Titan type of thing?
Not sure. Like I say, you can't really tell. It could go either way. It could be crystal. I don't know.
Well, the hardening technique was actually noted it was first noticed on the female Titan, and they've been using the term hardening ever since. So I'm going to assume that it's based on the female Titan's powers.
Yeah.
Because they never changed the term whenever they talked about like the armor Titan, right?
I don't think so. No. I don't think so. No.
It was because so obviously if it looks exactly the same, then it's probably the female Titan's powers, which is crystallization. I mean, yeah.
And anyways, everyone's kind of coming out. They find an exit to get themselves out of there, and Shasa's pretty much just getting on her knees and thanking Eren that they're alive. But to be honest, when I saw you wail and run that creepy way, I thought it was the end, that we were all done for. I thought, what the hell is that crying wuss doing? I mean, come on, pull yourself together.
Yeah.
Eren's not even paying any attention to her, though.
I know. That's Sasha, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's the only one there who would say that. I don't think Hanji would say that.
It's just weird. I'm hearing sound.
Not me. Nope. Shouldn't be unless my chair's creaking.
No, I'm hearing a commercial sound, but
Oh, I've got nothing on, so it's probably.
Oh, then let me. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. And yeah, so it's interesting. Oh, it also noted that even when Eren, when Eren first turned to a Titan, his Titan form disappeared. Now with his hardening ability, it stays.
Yep. Of course, one thing that comes along here is that they seem to suggest that it might be a one-time thing without those bottles.
That'd be kind of a problem. Let's see.
At least because he doesn't have the ability naturally or can't control it yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, because wait, what did it?
Because the next thing he's wondering about is where the bottle went. Does anybody got any more of those armor bottles?
Yeah, that's what they're asking. But so do we have to assume that it's only a one-time deal then?
Unless you have the ability naturally, perhaps.
Well, I mean, is it like a permanent power up, or is it kind of like a one? Exactly. We don't know if the bottle is permanent or not, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll see next time we see Eren go Titan.
I will say this though, yeah, and that's gonna be unfortunate. I hope they're not. It's not like they have planned to go to Wall Maria, and then suddenly when Eren's like has to do it, he can't do it, because that's happened many times before when Eren has to do something like turn into a Titan, and he just can't do it for whatever reason, and then everyone dies.
Yep.
It's happened before. I really hope that doesn't happen again, because although it's a bit repetitive to does that.
Hopefully they'll have enough sense to test it beforehand.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, you make all this drama about when he can't actually do it, but it's like he could have just tested it, you know. Because the previous thing was with Annie. I mean, you couldn't really test that. You know, it was a kind of a spur of the moment type of thing. But this thing, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they wonder about the bottle, but Krista reveals that Rod Rice's bag was found, but all the bottles were gone, or everything was in it has evaporated. There's nothing left. But there still might be some of that stuff elsewhere. So
Probably, I'm thinking maybe in the basement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's face it. The basement has most likely the Titan formula and possibly the Titan like power boost. You got it right. I mean, I think
something's going on there. Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? What do you think?
Seems logical enough to me, because I said there's obviously something in there, because this chapter is actually the first mention of it in a little while.
Yeah. And so yeah, exactly. So they talk about the basement. I mean, we gotta assume that this is what it's probably in there. And let's see. So now I think they leave the area, right?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much they're like getting ready to go, but Livy's like, many of our enemies and friends died. We traveled a long road, and we're anything but heroes. However, we still managed to reach this point. And Aaron's saying about the fact that if he can get to Wall Maria, he'll be able to look into his house's basement again.
Yeah.
Find out what his father had there.
Yeah. And then after that, we get a few pages of them basically just getting out of there. And so on page on MangaFan, or at least it's page 12, you see the gigantic gigantic like hole in the ground, or not even a hole, it's like even wider than that.
Yeah.
More like a square or roundish type of oval shaped
Yeah.
hole, where you see basically where basically the whole event took place. It was underground, obviously, and everything's just crushed. And you see in the distance something that's steaming. Basically, we all know what that is. It's
Yep.
King Titan.
Yep.
And it's just looking now and seeing like, it looks like the end of the world. The Earth basically caved in, and something crawled of it.
Yeah. So it's not like he so much broke out. It's almost like he rose out of there.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird because he's like, the Titan doesn't even look like it has a head.
Yeah, it's like not fully formed. Probably because he got like the dregs of that formula rather than doing it the proper way.
It looks so freaking deformed too.
Yep.
It's like crawling. Is this seriously bigger than the Colossal Titan? Because it doesn't look like it is, but I guess it is. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard because we can't really compare it to anything else at this point. And the Colossal Titan actually stood up, not crawl. So it's hard to say that this guy's bigger.
And you mentioned that the guy's giving out so much heat and steam that everything around it, like the trees and such around it, are just catching fire.
Yep, all the energy being released. And yeah, what is most surprising is that he's not interested in humans, which is weird because you would think he would try to eat Eren, of all things.
Yeah, at the very least. But at the same time, he does seem to be heading for the most populated area of humans in the nearby area.
Yeah. And so I don't know what it's trying to do. I don't think it can eat anyone because it doesn't have a head. At least not yet.
I think we saw something there, but yeah, go ahead.
And we get our best news of the day.
Hanji's alive.
Hanji's still alive. Yes. Woohoo! Well, she's injured, but still better than that. Dead.
And they kind of discuss their options at this point. They're actually calling the Titan power inside Eren. They're thinking of calling it the original Titan.
Yeah, well, and they're basically summing up, everything that we've been told about is like, the Rice family, and how, even if you gain that power, you get controlled by the ideology of the first king,
right? And
so there's no difference that's made. And then she's like, "This is interesting, according to the first king, this will be the real peace." Sure, sounds funny. Yeah. And then, okay, I'm gonna call her Historia from now on because apparently everyone else is calling her Historia. So
that pretty much is the case here. Yep.
Yeah. So Historia is basically saying, well, we can still choose, And
is that her saying that or Eren?
Wait, is it?
Because Eren doesn't kind of continue talking there, yeah.
Eren, yeah.
He wonders if he lets the King Titan eat him, Rod Rice will become human, and he can become the human Titan and possibly do something again.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, why would he think that of all people, the king would be able to turn back into unbrainwash, undo the brainwashing of the king on Rod Rice? If anything, you have Historia do it, right? Because at least Historia is actually like on the side of humanity. The king is on the side of the first king, even without the powers. With the powers, it would make it even. I don't understand why Eren's like, okay, I gotta let myself be eaten, so that way we can let the king have the power and get what he wants, and then we can try to unbrainwash him or whatever.
Well,
but it's like he's already been brainwashed.
I think the idea here, Eren, is worrying that by holding the power when he can't even fully use it, he risks screwing over humanity. Because if nothing else, like for whatever else was going on, the original Titan and the King and all that were interested in preserving humanity. I think that's Aaron's big. But as Levy points out, like I said, like or as you pointed out too, like there's no way they can guarantee being able to undo the first king's brainwashing.
Yeah.
And plus, even if they can restrain him, the guy can manipulate memories.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is make sure their memories of having any effect on them, and it.
Yeah. And then finally, someone says, which is Historia, there's another possibility. Oh, but before I say that, Mikasa's like, holy shit, really? Like, she's like, Aaron, that's, and she there's a pause before she's interrupted. But she's like, what the, I could tell, she's like, what the frick, Aaron? Like, really? You give up your life that easily? And we all know she's not gonna let that happen.
Nope.
You know what's scary is, like, of all this, like, people tell me that Mikasa's feelings for Aaron are sisterly instead of romantically. It's
Since
like,
when?
the Mikasa's voice actress was told that by the production staff.
Someone's not paying attention.
The production staff.
I would never at any point. I mean, Aaron to Mikasa, brotherly sisterly, I would buy. Mikasa to Aaron, not so much.
Well, that's what the production staff says, and that's what Mikasa's voice actress was told. So she's like, that I can't really. Either the production staff is like on another like mindset than the creator, or the creator just doesn't understand what sisterly means, even if it's on a very high psychotic killing level. Like, yeah, it's very hard to say that there's nothing wrong with sisterly love. It's just very hard to say that what Mikasa has been doing for Eren is sisterly.
Right.
It's very hard to say that.
Very hard. Anyway, Historia points out the flaws in any plan that involves bringing Rod Rice back to a human, which was meant, as I said, like, one, they've been trying to undo the brainwashing for decades without success. No matter how they restrain him, if he tampers with their memories, there's nothing anyone can do. And there's too many variables that they cannot predict.
This is reminding me again of Yu Yu Hakusho, the Chapter Black Saga, and what this is making me think is that the first king, he saw something that no matter if anyone else had seen would like turn on humanity. He saw something so horrible that humanity did that he just turned him. Yeah,
he saw the Titan version of the black tape then.
Yeah, basically, yeah, I mean, right? I mean, anyone who sees the black tape from Yu Yu Hakusho turns on humanity because you see so many bad things that humanity has done, you just can't support these people anymore, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the question, though. Why is the First King so hell-bent on, basically keeping humanity at bay? What did he see? What memories does he show his successors? Because even once upon a time, Rice and his brother, Rod Rice and his brother, were with humanity. They're like, yeah, we gotta help everyone. But something happened.
Here's a thought that just occurred to me. Who's to say the First King's memories that he's sharing with his successors are even real?
Yeah, I was thinking of that in the first place. But you have to understand, why would he do that? Like, is it to preserve the family power? Is it just for greed that he's like, okay, I'm gonna pretend that humanity is it's just tricky because it's something this is something that's being done after his death. So being able to do all this stuff is a little too it's like too complex for someone who's died. I just feel like maybe he just did see something that was really bad, and I think it's better that way, because you don't want to have that situation where humanity isn't tested, because I think by the end of the series you have this question of, is humanity worth saving? And to have the king fake his memories would be kind of a cop out. No, like have an actual flashback of maybe when humanity was really bad, so that way it can make us, even the audience, question like, maybe the king has a point, or but at the same time though, that's how our determination will be tested. Like, yeah, even though the king saw was real, I think we have grown enough, we've learned enough that won't happen again. Because so I think that's what should happen. Of course, the creator, the writer will do anything he will want, but I think that's better for the story.
Yeah, but you're pretty in sync with him so far, so I think you got a good chance of being right.
Yeah, finally.
Anyway,
so,
and then Historia goes on to point out that Aaron's father did try to save humanity from the First King. He pretty much like gave them this one in a million chance, and I actually kind of find it kind of amusing that he's calling Rod Rice a destructive pacifist. I don't know, it's just an odd little turn of phrase right there. I caught my attention.
Well, what's interesting is that she had this thing. You know what I told? I got really pissed off at Historia for like blaming Aaron's dad. Oh,
Yeah.
What Aaron's dad did for what for on Aaron. But
Yep.
now even she's actually okay with what Aaron's dad did. She's like, you know
Yep.
what? He was trying to help everyone. So it's
Yeah.
it's like she got so much better. It's like I know everything she did. I hated so much. Now that she's like, you know what? Your dad really did do something like try to help humanity.
Yep. And even if
And
she's not necessarily okay with it, she at least understands why it's going on.
yeah, so I'm just like, I'm just like shocked because in manga these days the writing is so bad that this type of situation would never happen. When someone misunderstands, the misunderstanding never clears up. But like his story actually understood from our perspective what was happening. She realized that first off, he shouldn't. I actually she never said this, but Aaron's dad shouldn't. What Aaron's dad did shouldn't be blamed on Aaron. She never really stated that, but
Yeah.
like I guess we can assume that. But more importantly, she even acknowledged that what Aaron's dad did, even for Aaron's dad, was was something he had no choice but to do. So now she's sympathized with people she I thought she initially hated. And well, she did initially hate, but now she's like understanding everything. She's coming to terms with everything. She's using her brain. Oh my gosh, this is this is amazing. Someone's using a brain in a manga.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
And I say they go back. They come back to the basement, wondering if there's a way to get into it now that they have a possible way to cover the hole. But Hanji points out, like, that's all well and good, but what about the King Titan? They can't even restrain it, so there's no other. So she tells the story she has no choice to kill her father.
Wow, this is really a big turnaround from what she's been doing. Like this is the opposite of anything, and first I'd like to note that the King Titan is actually our first. I think we're the first ones who made that, right? I'm sure someone else did, but I think we're the first ones that we know of who used the term King Titan.
Yeah, but I don't follow forums on Titan, so I couldn't tell you if anyone came.
Yeah. Oh, at least before the Scanlators, we'll say that.
Yeah, and then and I think we're hitting on a mistranslation because she's saying like when I became a Titan, which she did not do. So you might be thinking of when I was about to become.
Yeah, I read that too. I was like, wait, no, you didn't become a Titan. You never did. So, yeah.
But she does point out like her own little moment of weakness here. Like she was really going to kill Aaron, but not because of humanity or anything like that. She just wanted to believe in her father. She didn't want to be hated by him.
Yeah, we all knew. We all knew that she felt that way ever since he hugged her. I was kind of like, oh, damn it. I mean, I'm personally a more careful person in general. That's why whenever I see someone do that, I'm like, no, he's probably not being honest.
Actually,
and unfortunately, even though I know she's been through a lot of shit, so she probably was at a weaker moment in her life. But I'm thankful that it's over. I hate that. I wasn't sure she was gonna get over it because we never know what the author's thinking. But thankfully, we're at a point where she realizes everything's happening, and if anything, understands it even better than Aaron.
what you just said there kind of reminds me. Like I know you don't watch Doctor Who yourself. But there's like a thing in there recently, like the current Doctor, Peter Capaldi, like the way he plays it, like he doesn't like hugging, like he is not by any stretch touchy-feely, and like one of the reasons for that is let's see if I can find the quote here. It's like he doesn't like it, and one of the reasons he gives for that is because it's just a way to hide your face, and it's like so you don't actually have to show yourself, like show what you're thinking, which is kind of what you're just suggesting, right?
So that's an interesting thought. Yeah. Anyway, it's so basically now she's now. Let's see. Let me get to the next chapter. So Aaron's just in thought, and basically, history confirms that she now has to part with him. She's now accepting that what I cannot have emotional attachment to my father like that anymore. It's done. It's like I have to grow up basically. So this is. I mean, this past couple of chapters has been a coming of age for Historia, and I'm glad because I thought Historia of all people was not meant to be on the front lines because she was kind of weak-willed. Everything that she did was like Ymir determined. Basically, Ymir was basically like the only. It was like the dominant one in their obvious relationship.
Yeah, and as he himself pointed out, she had something of a martyr complex.
Yeah, and then now we get to the play to Erwin, and everyone's basically getting really close to the Titan for some reason.
By the way, on page 27, the Titan does have a head.
Oh,
really teeny tiny head, but it's a head. Relatively speaking, since it's as big as a horse.
At least. Oh, you're right, it does! Holy shit! He's on the ground, though. Why is his face in the ground?
I don't know, maybe he can't lift his head.
Probably too heavy.
He's all malformed as it is, so maybe he's just really dense in the head. And we see Aaron screaming at it as if trying to control it, but he is not getting very far with it.
I think he can. First off, I think they talk about how remember everyone. He has the coordinate power, so he technically has the ability to control Titans. But the last time he did it was kind of a spur of the moment, fueled with emotion. I think he
Right.
can't really do the same, and it's again. I think it's because of inexperience, but also maybe because the fact is the guy's a rice. Maybe that could help. Maybe
Sure.
that would be a factor too, because the other Titans he controlled were so far just normal Titans.
Yeah,
So
this one's a deviant type, so they maybe go just from that. I like the fact that he actually is trying to strike a pose like he'd be. Go Web, go!
well, arguably, I would actually argue that all Titans are deviant, in the sense
Well,
that they all come.
when they refer to deviant, they refer to the ones that don't act in the manner.
Oh, okay, okay. Abnormal. Because I used to
Yeah.
abnormal.
Okay, abnormal. I don't know what the official one is on English.
I thought you meant deviant as in ones who are human who turn into titans. And I have the theory that all titans used to be human.
Yeah,
So.
but in this case, it just refers to the Titans that don't act in the same way like the average Titan behaves.
In the dub, and I think maybe in the sub too, but particularly the dub, they refer to it as abnormals. So.
Okay. All right, I haven't seen the dub of Titan on there,
Okay.
and I haven't really been paying attention to Crunchyroll where I started doing the reviews.
Okay. So basically, they meet up with Aaron. Aaron's like, "You did a good job," and he's like, "Well, Aaron's screaming is not working." And that's what Levi says, by the way. I have countless things to report to you, but first, and then Aaron's like, "Who's the Titan?" Levi responds, "Rod Rice," and I need your opinion on something, Chief.
And we find out that the King Titan is basically making a beeline for the old district, the little outer wall that it has in there, section in town there. I never really paid. It never really hit you just how big these walls actually are until you see like in wide range with the town inside. That's just like a tiny section, but look how much is in there. I got beginning of page 30.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too, and it's kind of interesting because I remember looking at the whole diagram, and it's interesting that the way they kind of build their walls is that all the cities are circled, like they're on the edge of like a bigger circle, and then they have a small inner circle that surrounds the town itself,
like a little bubble in a bubble.
Yeah, so that's why I was always wondering, because I always thought like there are some places where I thought when the wall was breached, I was like, okay, then why is this place still open, or why is that place still closed? And I was like, oh, because the wall is the area is made like that. I thought they were just cities inside the bigger circles, and there was no inner wall, like there was no inner circle. So right. I was always confused about which wall was broken.
I've always known there's at least 3 layers of walls.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that there was just those 3 walls, and there was nothing else. That's why I was always confused by this. Is back when I first watched the series. So that's why I wasn't really, I wasn't like really well. I didn't know much about the walls at first, but it was kind of weird because I was like, which wall is being broken? Has this wall been broken before? Or it's like, and it turns out, it's because these walls are different.
Yep. And at this point, it looks like they're actually actively stopping the evacuation of people from that district, because they're under the impression that since it is an abnormal or deviant, whatever you call it, it's focusing on densely populated. It ignored a bunch of small villages and came directly to the actual walled town where big people. So they're afraid that if they actually do evacuate everyone, rather than going through the little bubble wall first, they're just going to turn and break through the big wall. Just go straight through.
I was always wondering, I'm actually curious, how did he know where the people were?
How do any Titans know where people are?
Well, no, because they see you.
Well, I don't think there's that. I think they do sense humans in general.
I mean, they were literally Titans next to the wall the entire time, so they just had to walk in to see anybody. So, I mean, remember back in when Armin did this whole thing about dropping people in and shooting the eyes of Titans when they were in the weapons area.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Titans didn't realize they were there until they literally said, "Hey, Titan, get over here." So.
Well, like I said, normal may mean that he may have some extra sense of it too. Yeah. Let's remember, like Rices do seem to have some kind of like little psychic ability in them.
Yeah.
At this point, though, they have to pretty much take a chance on here. They're going to use the people as a lure for the King Titan, but they're in position to try and evacuate anyway if things go bad. But at the same time, they've got to use them there and use them as bait as the Titan comes up to the wall. Stop them on that particular part of the wall.
Yeah. So you don't want to break the big wall. You want to break the small wall, basically. But yeah, so it's as I said before, back when I wasn't well versed, that was the term I was using. I wanted to use well versed, uh, with the walls. It was just kind of weird not knowing which wall was being broken, because you're like, wait, wasn't this wall broken? How the hell are these two people still alive? And it turns out because there's really two types of walls. There's the big wall, and then there's a small wall.
Yeah.
So basically, they don't want to have the big wall broken. Oh, I will say this though. I will say this: the Colossal Titan has only been able to break the gates, because the gates are actually not made of titans, right?
Actually, that's a good point. Plus they only needed to break that in order to get the I think it broke a chunk of wall around it. That's why that's one reason they haven't been able to repair things easily. But yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, they made that whole plot point, at least in the anime, where they're like, yeah, you know, the Colossal Titan can only break the gateway, the gate, the gate areas. So that would probably mean, and of course that would actually make the question, like, why are the walls itself so powerful? And it's because they had titans in them.
Right.
And it makes sense the gates can't have titans in them because you got to open them, right?
Right.
So basically, they're worrying about the fact that the king's actually able to break the walls itself, which it's very hard to believe at this point. I mean, he can climb over it, I guess, because he's well, I mean, he is bigger than the Colossal Titan, so technically he could climb over it, but at the same time he's crawling, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's too deformed to attempt it. Because if he's twice as big as the Colossal, if he's bigger than the Colossal Titan, that means he's tall enough if he was standing to be looking over the wall.
Right.
So,
that's how we were introduced to the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, actually, we flash up to the next day. Apparently, the people have been woken up for like an evacuation drill, quote unquote, and they're actually wondering if there might even be an insurrection. And again, it's like, after waking them all up for an evacuation drill, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an insurrection. Military even took. I somehow think there might be a translation issue right there, but whatever.
Yeah. Definitely check that out in Crunchyroll.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to what comes up on the next page. Sasa's not hungry.
What the hell?
What?
What?
Of course, I think Jean there seems to wonder if it's because they've been actively killing people this time as opposed to what they've normally done. It's just kind of starting to take their toll on them. But still, despite everything that happened, he does point out that it's not over yet.
Yeah. By the way, what the hell happened to Kenny?
I don't know. That's gonna be he disappeared somewhere in the process.
I guess there's no way he's dead yet. So.
Oh no, I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah, they would have shown his body because he's too big of a character. He's probably escaped with his men. So let's see. Basically, they're waiting for the Titan to come over. It's morning. I think that whole thing happened like within one night, which is crazy.
Well, you think that's crazy? Think about One Piece, where like all the big arcs that we see on there usually take place over the course of a day.
No. Better. Bleach.
Yeah.
Like 5 seconds take like 5 years, or maybe it's 5 minutes.
True, but in One Piece, a lot more happens within that span of time.
Yeah. It's just that with Bleach, you kind of notice it, just because it's actually easier to count up. Like, wait, what? It's 5 years already?
Yeah, but like Dressrosa has been in like one day, I think. So I don't even think they've had a whole day go by.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, it makes sense because there's a lot of battles, a lot of switching around.
A lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, Bleach had no freaking excuse.
Yeah.
Wow, and in the end, we still get back to Bleach. All right, but Attack on Titan, at least it's because the manga is it's once every month, so we feel the time pass by a lot quicker.
Yep.
But yeah, so. And then just talking about the day isn't over yet. I like John's like, yeah, the day is still not over yet. Holy shit.
And then at this point, Historia shows up. She's dressed to kill.
She's also dressed like, I think is she dressed just so that it's better suited for her to fight, or is she dressed because it looks more like Ymir?
I didn't really take notice of that. Like, it just looked like she was wearing the Survey Corps uniform. The only thing I'm really noticing now on second look, it looks like she's wearing short shorts.
Well, it's because it's better.
Well, I don't know about that. Bare legs against this? I don't know.
Wait, what's that?
Bare legs in a situation like this? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I was saying. No, I don't mean better as in better sexually or whatever.
I don't even mean that. I mean, like, you're gonna have bare skin and something that can burn you with proximity.
Well, I think it's just better for movement. That's what I was thinking of.
Pants are not that binding in that case.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it can really, it depends, because I hate wearing long pants, especially when I run. So, but yeah, the burning thing would be. And then again, I don't think the pants would really protect you from the burning part. So
that's what they're made of. But you got a point.
Well, it's steam. Steam is ridiculously hot. So
yeah,
especially because there's so much energy being released when it goes back into liquid form. So Yeah. But yeah, his basically what it comes down to is at this moment, Historia is no longer a walking pair of just fan service, or
No,
just fan service himself, not pair, but
she's got to settle this. She's got to score. She's got a score to settle with destiny. She, she throws Levy's words back at him, like whether I choose whether to run away or fight.
yeah.
That's what you told me. And I was like, oh damn,
Yeah.
we don't
I
have
was
time for this. Come
I was
on.
about to, yeah, I was about to say walking pair of boobs, but I was like, wait, she doesn't have that much. It was her face that was like fan service-y. So I was like,
Yeah.
wait, so walking face of fan service. But thankfully, that was what my issue was with Historia. When she was first introduced, I was like, what is the point of this character? Like, she's just a pretty face, right? Walking around. Like, there's no point of her around. She's not made for this type of situation. But thankfully, they did actually point that out, and they're like, yeah, she's not really, she's not exactly the average soldier. And
Yeah.
now she's really grown up, and now she's like, yeah, they're saying, now forget about that pretty face. Let's put her hair back in a ponytail and get her some fighting gear. Now she's a real soldier.
Yep.
Because I did have that issue in the anime when I was watching it, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, look how pretty she is! I want her to be my wife," and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, are they really making this point? Like, it's
Yeah.
such a unnecessary.
Yep.
It wasn't even funny. I was just like, dude, you're in the middle of like getting killed. Can you like not do this right now?"
Yep. And finally, we come up to like the last page of it, like a little page spread. Here's where we actually get a good look at the colossal Titan or King Titan compared to the walls and people around it. I mean, you can definitely see that if it was stood up straight, it would be bigger than the colossal Titan.
Yeah.
Look at how big it is compared to the walls. The colossal Titan had stood over them, but this guy would have tower over them if it were capable of standing up straight.
Yeah, and I think the issue with this Titan is with the size is that I think maybe it's just too heavy. Like that, like in terms of look, if you look at the arms are scrawny as hell.
Yep.
And it's the legs are not like the problem is the torso. The middle, it's so huge that I don't think it can support itself, which is why it's on the ground, which is actually a big disadvantage. So if anything, the big size is a con instead of a pro in this case, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
So far, like,
Of course, it's not like Titans are exactly chosen to evolve in that case. It's hard to say what caused it here, especially since it was kind of an unusual, like the thing that caused him to transform.
yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, one want to ask what makes the Titan strong. I mean, bigger, like in terms of size, and yeah. I mean, the Colossal Titan always had the issue of being too slow, and now they also point out like, yeah, this Titan is really slow as well. We could use that to our advantage. So this now the chapter ends basically with the phrase "the biggest threat is approaching. The bet starts."
Yep. And then on the final page, we see like a little manga on the cover thing, which I just now realized it says "Ow, no exorcist."
Yeah, no.
The translators couldn't even get the title right.
Yeah. For just you guys know, we do use the Crunchyroll. The problem is like I'm busy during the week, so we wanted to record this earlier, and this unfortunately Crunchyroll does not have it out on their website yet. But please go read on Crunchyroll because we want to support the official release.
That's one reason I tend to save these things for after the release actually shows up. Like at least, like I said, and we do that with everything except for A Comment Got Killed because that only just started getting released.
Yeah. But unfortunately, this is a special circumstance right now. Being busy and all.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
we have to compromise a little.
Yeah. So this is the end, but still, there's no reason not to get the official release once it's out. I mean, it's
no,
free.
not at all. Yeah, at least on
for
the
for the latest chapter, it's always free. So
Yeah. And you always buy the books themselves, and they do have the books out too.
Yeah. So go pay money to get this because we want more content, better content.
Yes.
Okay. So. So basically the King Titan's approaching, but I don't see him as much of a threat at this point. I mean, I'm obviously gonna probably eat my words because they're gonna have something big about this, but like I just don't see how he can even fight unless he can somehow stand up.
I'm taking him as more of a juggernaut type threat. He's just gonna keep coming and coming and coming, and nothing's gonna stop him unless they find a way to do so.
So he just so basically is like he's easy to avoid, but the problem is they can't avoid him because they want to protect the city.
Right. They have to get in his way, but he's a juggernaut, so he's not going to be stopped very easily.
I always wonder how this. I'm thinking this. Maybe they stop him by using Aaron's hardening ability to make a wall around him.
Possible, but they even already said though it's too big to restrain. And again, that's something Aaron even still has the hardening ability, or can call on it in a fight like this.
Because he was able to use pillars, right, to hold him up. So I was like, maybe he can shapeshift his powers into like a wall or something. And yeah, it's going to be a big toll on Eren, but maybe that's what it comes down to. Maybe that's what he has to do. because there's, I mean, unless wait, I just realized something. If he is well, I don't know because Titans normally attack Titan shifters, right? But what makes them attack Titan shifters? Is it because of their power to become human again? Because
I've always taken it like that. Like they're drawn to people that can do that, and then as a result, like, and that might be even, I figure that's kind of why they're drawn to humans in the first place. Like they're drawn to humans to eat them because they're hoping they can find that. Because somewhere in there, they're hoping to find a Titan shift that will let them regain their senses.
possibly because so they would they because the King Titan does not yet have the ability to turn back into human. I would assume that the Titans the normal Titans won't go after him,
Hard to say
right?
for sure. I mean, it
Because
it could go either way on that one.
assuming my theory is correct and that all humans used to be former Titans, then it would make sense that the Titans wouldn't go for those Titans like the King Titan until they get the ability to turn back to human. Otherwise, they would just be attacking each other, and they don't, obviously. So you know, it just makes sense. I think it just makes more sense that to say that they only attack the ones who have the either are humans or have. I think like the way it works is that when Titans get the power to become human again, when they transform, it's not that they transform into a Titan, but they make the Titan transform around them, right?
Yeah.
Because when you cut the back of a normal Titan, like the back of the necks, you don't see anything in there because I think that's the body itself becomes a Titan. And I think that's what initially happens with every single person who becomes a Titan. But when they get that ability to turn back into human, then the way they turn into a Titan changes so that they
Yeah.
become human,
Like
controlling a Titan.
like their
You know?
human body, like it almost like it rejects the human body back out again.
Yeah. So I think in this case, because Rod Rice does not have that power yet, he is literally just a Titan. Like he's just a human who has turned into a Titan, where rather than a human who's controlling a Titan from the inside. So since there's no trace of human left in him, the Titans won't go after him.
Yep.
So which because I was thinking like maybe Aaron can use the Titans to attack him or distract him, but I was like, wait, oh, he can, I guess. I mean, maybe that's what he could do. I mean, obviously, maybe that's a possibility. What if he can learn how to, yeah, because I was thinking that Titans would attack the king on his own, but
Right.
if
Well,
on their own,
where they
but
are right now, there aren't going to be any Titans attacking him anyway.
Why?
Well, they're not in an area that has Titans.
Oh,
right
wait,
there.
then, okay, because I thought they were because they're outside the wall, right?
Well, I think they're I think that the section that has
yeah,
Titans
okay.
is blocked away by itself. Though.
Okay, 'cause the wall has that wall hasn't been broken yet. Okay, so yeah.
Right.
In which, because I was thinking like maybe the Titans were there, but I just remember the Titans are not in there.
That was the big deal during the whole Beast Titan arc.
Yeah, because I just watched the anime and I remember that in that where was we were because they were next to Maria, the Titans were basically around around the area, whereas this one they're actually deeper within the civilization, so the walls have not been broken yet and there are no Titans around in the grass fields. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because yeah, that's how they transport Eren to the underground. Yeah, that makes sense. This is me just getting confused with the anime again. Okay, so anything else?
Like I said, we're pretty much past the point of having to theorize stuff. Like we're getting into action at this point.
Pretty much.
I'm wondering if this whole King Titan battle will give us some kind of insight to Titans in general. Right now, I'm just curious to see if they are able to stop him or how much collateral damage will happen in between.
Well, I think as long as we save the humans, I think everyone would be happy about that.
Yeah.
There might be an issue of the whole refugees and people getting killed off because they too much they don't want to waste resources like they did last time.
Yeah.
But I think that's a matter for later because I think right now
the
immediate threat is the King Titan.
And I don't think that will happen just because the people that were in charge of that decision aren't in charge anymore.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't know what the new military is capable of. I mean, I mean, Aaron had. Sometimes you have to make the hard choices, and Aaron has shown he's made the hard choices.
Yep.
So, but hopefully it doesn't come down to that. I don't think. I think as long as it saves people in general, I don't think Aaron would ever go against that type of.
Yeah. Like their goal is to save humanity, so they may be forced to sacrifice a small number, but they're not going to. Yeah. I don't even think this group's going to do that if they can help it.
Yeah, I think so.
They view their job as protecting the civilian.
Because I remember he did sacrifice some of them during the female Titan arc, but yeah, I mean that he did. There was really no way you could work around that. But I think in this case you could work around that. So I think he's not gonna. At least he doesn't want to do it unless he has to. And I think the resources, the food part, I think something you can avoid if you can just basically take away the food from the rich and wealthy, or at least the ones who are so selfish and arrogant. They're just keeping everything for themselves and not help anyone. Because I'm careful of saying pointing out the rich and weak. I don't want to make the whole rich and poor argument in this manga.
Yeah.
But basically, you want to make sure that there's food enough, food enough to go around. At least in this case, and maybe if you had to take it away from some people, then maybe you can say, hey, we'll pay you back later.
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for human today. I can just picture a wimpy Titan now.
So yeah, I think that's about it for today, right?
Yeah, but I think we're good to go here. It's like just a quick little run of Attack on Titan. All these episodes will be up on Tuesday the 10th. So we'll have this, One Piece, Bleach, and Inside Mari. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye!
Hey, hello everybody, the Doctor here. My apologies for some of the audio issues on this batch of videos. I think it was just a result of me tinkering with recording settings for my Let's Play videos. Didn't quite cross over too well to these. I should be able to avoid it going forward though. In the meantime, if you did enjoy our manga reviews despite that, then you can look at our other reviews by clicking the annotation to the Typical Manga Review Master List, or looking in my own playlists on my channel for individual series, One Piece, Inside Mari, Bleach, Akame Got Kill, and Attack on Titan, the whole batch. If you prefer some of the gaming content, then you can check out Let's Plays by either myself or Typical Manga Fan. Right here in the annotation you'll see him playing Star Wars Republic Commando, or you can go to my own Let's Plays of Bleed or Shovel Knight. Yeah. That's it. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed. Y'all have a good night, and bye!